Ever since the first space flights, man has been eager to travel into space himself, not only as a heroic act of exploring the universe, but to perform scientific experiments in space as well. After the tragic loss of the NASA space shuttle Columbia and the death of 7 astronauts, critics now question the value of manned spaceflight. However, despite what some people say, astronauts can't be fully replaced by robots. There will always be a need for humans to control and monitor experiments in space.
The humans in space are important in order to make corrections of systems that are not working. I just remember that, for instance, with the shuttle, there have been malfunctioning satellites being retrieved. You could never do this with a robot.
This point of view is shared by Frank de Winne, ESA's last astronaut to visit the ISS. There is a lot that can be done from the ground stations or by robots, but some things, like drinking water, are simply too complex.
Well, already today a lot of the experiments are done by what we call telescience. Scientists here on the Earth can intervene with their experiments on board the International Space Station, but still there are a lot of tasks that are very difficult to do for a robot. Think about changing samples or making small repairs that were not foreseen. If all these tasks would have to be done by robots, then the robot would become enormously complex and also very, very expensive. So for that reason also, I think it's still very worthwhile to send humans to space.
De Winne was Belgium's first astronaut to visit the ISS, and during his taxi flight he was on board for 8 days. He is highly in favor of the ISS being permanently manned.
I think we should continue to man the ISS permanently, because we learn an awful lot from flying to the ISS, from being there. We learn how to live and to work in space. A lot of technology advances are done in the ISS. We do a lot of science in the ISS.
But what is the important research that these astronauts carry out then? How can things that are tested or developed in space benefit everyday people in their daily lives?
Well, for the moment what we are doing in International Space Station is still a lot of fundamental research, so there is not a one-to-one correlation to what we do right now as research and a direct result for the people on Earth. What we try to do now in Space Station, in the fundamental research, is to understand certain mechanisms, how things work. We observe certain things here on Earth, like osteoporosis, for example, especially in older women. We do not understand very well why this is happening. Space research helps us understanding that. And when we understand it, we can make new medicines.
I think there is also an important part to do research on human beings in orbit. For instance, in the field of medicine, it is extremely important to have the astronauts in orbit in order to do new research, to open new frontiers.
The fact that ESA is a partner in the development of the International Space Station is a big step forward with regards to research facilities. Once ESA's Columbus laboratory is attached to the ISS, Europe will have its own laboratory, all year round.
The International Space Station for us is a real quantum leap in research possibilities and in application. In former times we participated sometimes in a space lab mission, which was also developed in Europe, every 5 years for 2 weeks. And with Columbus we will have a laboratory in orbit which is 365 days per year over a period of 10-15 years available for research. So it's really a factor 100 almost more what we can do in terms of research and application. We have actually inside Columbus several facilities. One of them is, for instance, suitable to do all sorts of material research. Another one can do combustion or research on liquids. A third one can do medical research or biological research, so we can do human physiology, as we say. And then we have another research facility which can host a variety of different experiments. So we can almost do all types of research in many fields of scientific disciplines.
Due to the dramatic accident with the Space Shuttle Columbia, the space program will certainly be delayed. However, some future ISS components, such as the ATV, ESA's Automated Transfer Vehicle, have become more important.
since for the moment Space Shuttle cannot fly to station anymore, and the ATV is a cargo transport vehicle that can provide cargo, fresh food, fuel to the space station, is actually gained in importance, and it might well be that it will be launched earlier or certainly on time on the request of our international partners.